So today I'm going to make a video about solving equation notes to make sure that we review some of the concepts, and I've purposely picked an example that has some negatives and some decimals so that we follow the protocol and follow the process to find our answer, and hopefully that will make sure that we understand what we're doing when we get deeper, because a lot of times when we start with algebra, we start with easy examples. We can see the answers in our head, and so we don't necessarily learn the process. So I tried to pick something that would be a little bit more difficult to see in our head. First of all, as we're solving equations, the goal is to isolate the variable. In this case, that's the c, so I'm working on getting the c alone. So I'm going to work on trying to peel off the numbers that are over there with the c. And they say the equation is balanced and must stay that way. One of the things I like to do is draw a line to represent the balance, and we're trying to get the c alone. All right, we do that. One of the things we get to do later, we'll deal with simplifying each side of the equation. We don't have to do too much of that right now because I do not have like terms on that side, but we will use our inverse operations to isolate the variable. What that means in this case is that we will work on getting c alone by eliminating some of the other stuff that's with it. I'm going to blow this up, or at least raise it up, and cover up my notes for a little while. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is eliminate this negative 6.8 because it is the least close to c. I feel like it can help to attack the parts that are least attached. If we think of solving like a mystery, we eliminate the easy clues. If it's a murder mystery, you eliminate all the people that weren't in the area. You try to get down to what's close. So I'm going to eliminate the least attached pieces. This negative 6.8. How do I get rid of that? Negative and subtraction mean the same thing, so I'm going to use the inverse of that on both sides of my equation. So I'm going to write down plus 6.8. And I would do that on both sides. Excuse my sloppy writing. I'm learning to write with a cursor. Okay, so I'm going to add 6.8 to both sides. That is going to effectively cancel out that piece. So on the first side, we'll have negative c over 1.2, which is slightly simpler than it was before. So we are getting closer to our goal of having c alone. On the other side, I need to evaluate what negative 2.9 plus 6.8 would be. Now this is interesting. We have opposite numbers working against each other, so my answer is going to be the difference. I have a negative working against a positive, with the positive being stronger, so now my answer will be a positive number, and the difference between 6.8 and 2.9 is close to 4. 2.8, 6.8 would be 4. It's actually 1/10 less than that, so it is 3.9. That is the difference there. So positive 3.9 is a difference. So I've gotten closer to having my c alone. I want to get my c all alone, so what I see it as being divided by 1.2. I'm going to need to multiply to get rid of that. One little simple trick that I'm going to do is also see that multiplying is also how I will get rid of the negative. So if I can multiply by negative 1.2, that will save me a little bit of work. I have to do the same thing on the other side because it's balanced. So I'm going to multiply by negative 1.2, and that will let me see exactly what c equals. So 3.9 times 1.2, that sounds a little bit adventurous, but I'm going to do 3.9 times 1 is still 3.9. 3.9 times the 0.2, so multiplying it by 2 would be 778. It's going to be one less than that, so 0.78. So 3.9 and 0.78 would be 4.68. With a positive times a negative gives me a negative answer. So I came up with negative 4.68. This would be my answer, so I like to box around it. Using our ASC format, we showed the question inclusive, we showed our steps, our conclusion is here in our box. We would check this answer by plugging that into our original equation, seeing when you get negative 4.68, divide it by 1.2, subtract that from negative 6.8, and you should get that answer. We would check that using, you could use your calculator at that point. Hopefully this helps you get down to the steps to solve equations using a nice complicated example to make sure that you follow the protocol.